Students, let's do Brahmanath. Om. Om. Santi, Santi, Santi. Swasth.
Good morning students, welcome back to today's lecture. Today we are going to start new chapter, that is your enzyme. We will study about the structure of enzyme, its properties, and what are these chemical nature and what are these mode of action of enzymes. Before going to today's class, let us discuss some important points what we have studied in the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, we have studied about the biomolecules. In the biomolecules, we have studied about the carbohydrate, we have studied about protein, amino acid, lipids, and last class we have studied about the nucleic acid. What are nucleic acid? Can you remember what are the nucleic acid? Then these nucleic acids are the component that are made up of your most of the nucleotides. And what are nucleotides? Nucleotides are mostly made up of your nitrogenous bases, sugar, and the phosphoric acid. And basing on the sugar, there are two types of nucleic acid that are present inside our cell, and these nucleic acid that are very important for most of the functioning of our cell, that mostly helps in the transcription translation in the process of our cell functioning, cell growth, and cell metabolism. And in the nucleic acid, you have studied these are two types. One is your DNA and another one is your RNA. DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid and RNA is ribonucleic acid. And in the deoxyribonucleic acid, that is presence of deoxyribose sugar, and in the RNA, that is presence of ribose sugar. These all topics we have studied in the biomolecules. Today we will start another important topic from your structure, from your cell, that is your enzyme, and it is an important component for the cell survival. For cell growth, metabolism, enzymes are very much essential for metabolism and several biochemical reactions. Okay, so enzyme is a proteinaceous substance. It is a proteinaceous substance, and it catalyzes most of the biochemical reaction. Okay, these are the important components that helps in the biochemical reaction. Biochemical means most of the catabolic and anabolic activity. Catabolic and anabolic activity that are performed inside our cell, it is helped by your enzyme. That's why enzyme, it is known as your enzyme called biocatalyst. Enzymes are thus known as your biocatalyst. Why? Because they speed up reaction, speed up the chemical reaction. That's why they are very much important in our cell, and they are known as your biocatalyst, and they speed up the reaction. Any reaction that are performing inside our cell, that will be performed, or that will speed up, or the rate of reaction will be increased by which structure? By the application of enzymes, and these enzymes are proteinaceous in nature. That is, all enzymes are protein. So the enzymes that are present inside our cell, that all enzymes are proteins, but not all the proteins are enzymes, but all the enzymes that are proteinaceous in nature. Okay, we can call the enzymes as your protein, and they are known as your biocatalyst. And another important point is that the term enzyme is proposed by Kuhne. Okay. Kuhne proposed it called enzyme. Another important point is that the enzyme literally means in yeast. Another important point is that the enzyme literally means in yeast. Why they are known as in yeast? Because most of the yeast, you know, yeast is a fungi, and these yeast are responsible for secretion of enzymes. That enzyme it is known as your maltase enzyme, and that enzyme converts the maltose into two structure, that is fructose. Okay, the maltase enzyme which is present inside the yeast that helps in the conversion of maltose into fructose. That's why the fungi, that is yeast, as it is producing most of the enzymes, that's why the enzyme literally means in yeast. Okay, these are the important concepts that are the enzyme, it is a biocatalyst that speed up your reaction, and that are present as proteins, and all the enzymes regarded as a protein. Okay, note down these points, then we will discuss about the what are the chemical nature of your enzyme. So that is not maltose, it is converted to glucose by the application of maltase enzyme. It is a maltase enzyme that are secreted from your yeast cells. Okay, which is a fungi. Okay, note down these points. Okay, we have know that the enzymes are biocatalysts. Then let us discuss what are the chemical nature of your enzyme. You know that the enzymes it is made up of proteins. It is made of proteins. Besides these proteins, enzymes can be made up of most of the non-protein part also. Along with protein, we can find several non-protein part also that are present in the enzyme structure. Okay. If only protein part is present inside the enzyme, then it is known as your which structure? Then it is known as your apoenzyme. And if protein plus non-protein part, the non-protein part of enzyme, it is also called as your cofactor. And most of the protein and non-protein part, they will form the holoenzyme. This is the basic difference between the apoenzyme. If only protein is present in the enzyme, that is known as your apoenzyme. And if the protein and non-protein part they unite, they will form the holoenzyme. And non-protein part of your enzyme, it is known as your cofactor. And mostly the cofactor, it is again divided into two types. Cofactor is again of two types. One is your simple inorganic cofactors and complex organic cofactors. Okay. And then what are the some example of your simple inorganic cofactors? Most of the cofactors that are known as your holoenzyme that bind to the enzyme, most of these simple, that is your Fe2 plus, then Mg2 plus, then another example K plus, then Cu2 plus. These are, what are these ions? These are your ion, then magnesium ion, potassium ion, copper ion. These are the examples of your inorganic cofactors that included inside your cofactor. Then what are the complex organic cofactors? Most of the complex organic compound example are your, these are the examples of simple inorganic. Then these are the complex organic cofactors, that is your FAD, then FMN, then NAD. Okay, these are some examples of your complex organic, that is flavin adenine dinucleotide, then flavin mononucleotide, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Okay, these are the examples of your complex organic cofactors. That is, if the protein it is present along with these cofactors, then the protein enzyme is known as your holoenzyme. Then if only protein is present, it is known as your apoenzyme. And one of the most example, that is a non-protein part, is the example of your enzyme, that is your ribozyme. Why these are included in the non-protein part? Because they contain the, or it is non-proteinaceous in nature. It is ribozyme, it is non-proteinaceous in nature. That is, there is no protein present inside your ribozyme. And another important point is that some are also attached prosthetic group. Prosthetic group. What are these prosthetic group in enzymes? Usually these prosthetic group, you can find some cofactors that are permanently attached to the enzyme structure, and that cofactors that permanently attached to the enzyme, that are known as your prosthetic group. These are type of cofactors that are attached permanently, enzymes. Okay, one of the example, can you say what are the cofactors that are permanently attached to your enzyme structure? Is that is your vitamins. Most of the vitamins, they will attach permanently to the enzyme structure. Okay, these are the basic types of your enzymes based on their presence of protein and non-protein part, that is your apoenzyme and holoenzyme. Okay, note down these points, then we will discuss about another few important types of your enzyme. Okay, already we have discussed what are the chemical nature of the enzymes, and now we can discuss what are the important nomenclature types of your enzyme. And basically we can add, or we can classify, we can name enzymes by adding ASE to the substrate, We can add the ASE to the reaction to the substrate, and we can name that enzymes. Okay, one of the example of that is your sucrase. Sucrase is an enzyme, and one of the example, it is your lipase. These are two example of your enzymes that are named by adding ASE to their substrate. Then sucrose, it catalyzes the, or break down the sucrose into glucose plus fructose, and the lipase, it usually break down the lipid. Then we know that when lipid break down, they will break down into fatty acid plus glycerol. We have studied in the lipid that the lipid, it is made up of your fatty acid and glycerol units, and these two enzymes, that is lipase and sucrase, that is the, it is having the ASE unit. Here also ASE, and here also ASE is present. That is, we are adding ASE to name that enzyme. Okay, and name, second important point is that we can name enzymes based on their reaction types, or what types of reaction they are performing, we can name the enzymes. Suppose that is your polymerase enzyme, one example, and another example is your hydrogenase. That is not hydro, that is dehydrogenase. Then what are the polymerase enzymes? Polymerase enzymes are those, usually the polymerase enzymes that involve to unite the most of the monomers. To form polymer. Okay, that are the function of your polymerase enzyme. Dehydrogenase, that is removal of hydrogen. That is the function of your dehydrogenase enzyme. You can name based on their reaction. And another important point is that the enzyme having two parts. Okay, then what is the two parts? Enzyme having two parts. Having two parts. You can divide the enzyme name into two parts. What is that? Let us take one example. Suppose this is your DNA ligase, and here you can see the DNA. It is a substrate. It is a substrate. It is an example of your enzyme, that is your DNA ligase, and DNA here it is a substrate, and ligase it is the reaction catalyzed. Reaction catalyzed. Then what are these ligases? What is the function of ligase? That is helps in the joining. Helps in the joining of segments of the DNA. And here DNA is your substrate, and ligase it is the reaction catalyzed by your enzyme. That's why the enzyme it is divided into two parts. One is your substrate and another one is your reaction catalyzed. Similarly, another example is your that is DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase. This is another example. Here the substrate it is your DNA. Yes or no? And the reaction catalyzed, that is your polymerase. Here the polymerase is the reaction catalyzed, that is polymerase helps in the joining of most of the monomers. Okay, these are the basic types of your or the nomenclature of enzymes. One is your, you can name the enzyme by adding ASC substrate. Then enzymes are catalyzed based on the reaction, that is polymerase and dehydrogenase, and enzymes can divide into two parts. One is substrate and the reaction catalyst. Okay, these are the basic nomenclature types of your enzymes. Okay, note down these points. Now let us discuss what are the different classification of enzymes, and according to the IUP. What is IUP? That is International Union of Biochemistry. Enzymes into 6 types. That is the short form. You can, if we want to remember, that is OTHLIL. This is the short form. We can write to name the 6 enzymes. First, it is your oxidoreductase. Oxidoreductase. Then second one is your transferases. Then third one is your H for, that is your hydrolases. Then fourth one is your L for lyases. And fifth one, that is your I for isomerases. And last one L for, that is your ligases. These are 6 types of enzymes that are classified based on their International Union for Biodiversity. International Union for Biochemistry. Okay. Then what are these oxidoreductase? Then these enzymes catalyzes oxidation and reduction reaction. Oxidation and reduction reaction. And example is your, most of the example here is the oxidase and reductase. Oxidase and reductase, these are two examples of your oxidoreductase. Okay. And what are the reaction? If you take a reaction, that is alcohol plus NADH, that will give rise to aldehyde or ketone plus NAD. Okay, this is the oxidation reaction, oxidation and reduction reaction. And one of the examples, that is your oxidase and reductase. These are two examples of your oxidoreductase enzyme. And here there is removal of oxygen and gain of oxygen. Okay, here in the oxidation reduction reaction, there is removal of one oxygen and addition of one oxygen in another group. And here in the transferases enzymes, there is transfer of substrate from one to other occurs. And most of the example of your transferase enzyme, that is your transferase, transaminase and hexokinase. These are two examples of your transferase enzyme. That is, they helps in the transfer of one substrate from one reaction to the other. That is, in the transaminase, they will help in the transfer of your amino group, and in the hexokinase, they will help in the transfer of your phosphate group. And if you take example, that is your glucose plus ATP, that will glucose 6 phosphate plus ATP. These are the example where you can see there is transfer of your phosphate group in one reaction. There is transfer of your glucose 6 phosphate. Here there is additional group is present. That additional group is mostly transferred by your transferase enzyme. Okay. Next one here the hydrolysis. That is, in the hydrolysis enzyme that helps in the splitting of larger molecules into smaller molecules by addition of water. Here in the hydrolysis, splitting of larger molecules into smaller units by addition of water. And the reaction can be given by one of the example of your hydrolysis, that is your amylase. And here if you take sucrose, one of the complex organic carbohydrate, then it is breakdown by addition of water into glucose and fructose. Glucose plus fructose. Okay, these are addition of water, then that will convert the sucrose into glucose and fructose. Then note down these important 3 times, that is your oxidation reductase, transferase and hydrolysis. Then we will discuss about another 3 important enzymes. Okay, first note down these points. Already we have discussed the 3 types of enzyme, that is your oxidation reductase, then another example of transferase, then hydrolysis. Then let us come to lyases. Then these lyases enzymes, they usually break the bonds. Okay, it usually breaks the bond without hydrolysis. And one of the example of this reaction is your malate in the presence of enzyme, that is fumarase, that will give rise to fumarate plus water. Then there is no hydrolysis occurs here, only the enzyme, that is fumarase, they break the bond of the malate and they give rise to the which structure, that is fumarate plus water. And another example is your isomerase enzyme. Here the isomerase enzyme, the enzyme converts the substrate into its isomeric form, Then what do you mean by this isomeric form? That is, if one substrate is present, then this enzyme, that is isomerase enzyme, that will help to make a new substrate that is equally similar to the previous substrate. That is, they are isomers. These two substrates, they are known as your isomers because they are similar in their property. Okay, suppose one example is glucose 6 phosphate. When there is enzyme involved, that is your isomerase enzyme, then it will produce fructose 6 phosphate. This is also a 6 carbon compound substrate. This is also a 6 carbon compound. These two are your isomers. Okay, and basically which enzyme helps? That's your isomerase enzyme will help in the formation of isomers. And last one, the ligase. This enzyme helps in joining two substrates, joining two substrates, and by joining two substrates they form a new substrate or new component. That is, example is your acetyl coenzyme A, acetyl coenzyme A plus oxaloacetic acid that will produce which structure? That is your citric acid. Here the acetyl coenzyme A, it is a 2 carbon compound, and the oxaloacetic acid, it is a 4 carbon compound, and they produce this substance that is citric acid, which is a 6 carbon compound. Okay, thereby ligase enzyme helps in the which function? That is, they will join two substrate and they form a new substrate, that is acetyl coenzyme A plus oxaloacetic acid, they will form the citric acid. Okay, these are the 6 types. Okay, can you again repeat that 6 types? That is your one is your oxidoreductase, second is your transferase, third is your hydrolysis, then fourth is your liases, fifth one is your which structure? That is your isomerases, and last one is your ligases. Okay, these are the 6 types of your enzymes based on their function. Okay, note down these points, then we will discuss about important properties of enzyme. Now let us discuss what are the some important properties of enzyme, how the enzymes are important, and how these properties help the enzyme to perform several chemical reactions. Okay, first important property of enzyme is the chemical nature. You all know that chemically enzymes are proteins. Enzymes are proteins, and these protein part individually it is known as your apoenzyme. Already we have discussed that point. And also they also having the non-protein part, and if the enzyme having both protein part and non-protein part, it is known as your cofactor. And this cofactor along with your protein part, it is known as your structure, that is your coenzyme. And this is an important chemical property of your enzymes. And the one non-protein enzyme, can you name that enzyme? That is your ribozyme. Example is your ribozyme, which is non-protein enzyme. And another important property of that is your catalytic nature. That is, the enzymes they are known as, these are called biocatalysts. Why they are known as biocatalysts? Because they usually speed up the chemical reaction. That is, the rate of chemical reaction, it is increased if we add some enzymes to that reaction. Okay, it will increase the rate of reaction, rate of chemical reaction, and it remains unchanged. That is, enzyme remains unchanged. If we take an enzyme and if we add in a chemical reaction, then that will speed up that chemical reaction, but after the completion of reaction, that enzyme will remain unchanged. There is no change in the enzyme takes place. Okay, after completion of reaction, there is no change in the enzyme structure, that is, it remains unchanged. And another important property is that they are action specificity. That is, if you take one enzyme, then it is only applicable to that substrate only. If it is taking some example, okay, it is action specific. That is, if you take the sucrose plus water, here only the sucrase enzyme will work on the sucrose. To break down the sucrose molecule, only the sucrase enzyme, it is involved here. No other enzyme will involve. Suppose we will take the maltase, but here it is not work. Okay, the maltase enzyme, it will not here, because the sucrase enzyme is specific for sucrose substrate. Okay, that's why we said that the enzymes are action specificity. The sucrose will break down into glucose plus fructose. Okay, that's why the enzymes are action specificity. And another important property is that they are colloidal in nature. That is colloidal property. These enzymes are semi-solid in nature. Semi-solid in nature and insoluble in water. Insoluble in water. Okay, why they are insoluble? Because they are colloidal in nature and they are semi-solid in structure. That's why they are not soluble in your water. Okay, these are the important property. Note down these properties, then we will discuss another few properties of your enzyme. Then another property, that is your temperature sensitivity. Temperature sensitivity. Then what is this temperature sensitivity? That is, enzymes are thermolabile in nature. What is that? Enzymes are thermolabile in nature. That is, thermolabile means their temperature sensitivity. Temperature sensitive enzymes. That is the optimum temperature. Optimum temperature is around 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. Optimal temperature means what is optimum temperature? That is in the 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. Celsius it is the unit of temperature, and you know that optimum temperature is that in which the enzyme can only act in this temperature only. If you increase the temperature, the enzyme property will be less. If you decrease the temperature, that is if you decrease up to suppose 30, 25, then 20, then also enzyme reaction also decreases, and the property of reaction also decreases if we increase the temperature. Another one is that if we increase or decrease temperature, the enzyme property, the enzyme reaction is less. Okay, that's why they are thermolabile nature. That is, they are temperature sensitive enzymes. And another important point is that property, that is reversibility of reaction. That is, the enzymes, they are capable of acceleration of reaction. They are capable of acceleration of reaction in both direction. Okay, that is, they get reversibility. That is, if you take an enzyme, if you want to accelerate the enzyme in the forward direction, this is forward direction. If you want to accelerate the forward reaction, then we can use the enzyme also. If you want to accelerate the enzyme in the backward direction, then also enzyme can reverse that reaction. Okay, that's why enzymes they can act in the both direction. Okay, they can act in the both direction. That's why they can act in the forward direction and also backward direction. That's why they are having the reversibility of the reaction property. And another important property is that they are pH sensitive. Okay, another important point is that their pH sensitivity. Okay, normal pH is around 8.0. This is the optimum pH. Okay, optimum pH. If we remove the pH below the 8.0, then the reaction also decreases. And if we increase the temperature, increase or decrease the pH, that is pH is around 8.0, and if we increase the pH, then also reaction decreases, the rate of reaction also decreases. And if we decrease the pH, that is if we take the acidic pH, pH scale, okay, this is your pH scale, then pH 7 it is neutral, and below 7 that is your acidic pH, below 7 your acidic pH, and above 7 it is your basic pH. And normally the enzymes, their actual pH is around 8, that is slightly basic in nature. And if you decrease the pH, if acidic pH occurs, then also the rate of reaction of enzyme also decreases. And if you increase the also pH, if we increase the basic property of your substrate, then also the rate of reaction also decreases. Okay, these are the basic property, that is they are having the protein and non-protein part, they are having the temperature sensitivity, pH sensitivity, and their specific, that is the substrate which acts on any substrate, that enzyme is specific for that substrate only. Okay, these important topics we have discussed today. Okay, what we have discussed today, we have discussed the enzyme. The enzymes are nothing, these are the proteins, and basing on the presence of protein part or non-protein part or the cofactor parts, this can be classified into two types. One is your apoenzyme and another one is your holoenzyme. And then we studied the classification of enzymes and the basic properties of enzymes we have studied today. Okay, next class we will study about the different mode of enzyme action. Okay, see you in next class. Thank you.